I took a picture. There was a prosthetic leg leaning up against a back tire of a panhead. And it's funny, so it's like 45 years later, and that's probably my most known photograph. It's titled Early Morning, City Park, 1979. So in 77, I got a 1971 shovel head and started photographing being on a bike. You know, I photographed my bike, I went to events and photographed them. You know, if you rode a Harley, especially if it was a custom bike, you knew about Sturgis. It was the mecca, and it really was my first major event that I went to. 1979 was my first year, and I remember it well. Of course, we went right to City Park, and it was already wild. I mean, hey, let's go out, do some drag racing. You saw a car coming in the distance, you held up the race, you stopped it, never saw a cop, anything like that. So it was pretty basic. It was, you know, really people making their own fun. I mean, the city, there was always this love-hate relationship. They wanted Bike Week, it brought money into town, and then there were the people where they had these, you know, wet t-shirt contests on top of a school bus. You have all the citizens parked on the Zell. It's like binoculars looking in, and then the other citizens that weren't there screaming, how could you let this go on? And they finally shut it down. But it got pretty wild. But then a lot of campgrounds were born out of that, and Buffalo Chip certainly being one of, being born out of the outhouse ashes. We went from, I believe there were 40,000 bikes in 1980, and we went to 400,000 plus bikes in 1990 in 10 years, so tenfold exponential growth. And it was the late 80s when Malcolm Forbes showed up in Sturgis, and he brought his hot air balloon that was in the shape of a Harley-Davidson Softail, and he launched it out east of town and sails it over town. And it became cool for people that have money to start riding motorcycles. I think that really changed things. And you could see the change. So we went from sort of subculture to a more of a mainstream culture, got adopted. And then all of a sudden, then you started seeing, you know, the rise of doctors, lawyers, dentists, you know, all these people start riding Harleys and coming to Sturgis. And then the more mainstream it got, the more demanding people got of having fun delivered to them. And they were willing to pay for it. So, you know, for better or worse, it's just, I think it represents the culture of our country also, that everything's gotten bigger. You know, there's less regionalism in general, so there isn't that part of the same change of subculture to mainstream culture. If you don't embrace it, you're finished, right? You know, what are your choices? You either accept change or you fade away. How do you keep relevant? That's always a question. Certainly for me, I've been doing this 45 years, and you could say, yeah, isn't it time to hang up the cameras, hang up the hat, and give it up, because been there, done that. And maybe I should be doing that, I don't know, but I still love what I do. I still love photographing, I still love the culture. It's changed a lot, and there's a lot of questions I have, and I have trouble with certain things that I try to push through, but it helps me understand life. You know, that's part of my journey